Yeah, my name's Ben Peterson. I'm an artist and educator working mostly with ceramics and sculpture. The name of the piece is 156 handmade clay bottles. So the piece is me along with my studio assistant Mike Sullivan will be making 156 handmade clay bottles on potter's wheels, and those bottles are representing the number of plastic water bottles that the average American uses in a year. The piece will be like an ongoing performance for 6 or 7 weeks where we'll go once a week and make clay bottles in front of the public in the lobby of 3 Logan Square. And then those bottles that we make each week will kind of accumulate until there's 156, and that'll be the completed sculpture. I do like the idea of making artwork that responds to something. For me, it's like a design and a creative problem to solve, to think about how to look at the use of plastic water bottles and how that could relate to like an artwork that engages the public and maybe calls them to make some sort of action. For me, I see plastic being used constantly and being all over the streets and being in the waterways. So like I'm aware of it as like a citizen, that it's a problem. So I guess it's making me think about how to make those changes in my own life, but I wasn't a huge proponent or advocate for not using plastic water bottles. So I think it's something that I'm like thinking about through the piece and now thinking about how I could take action. For this piece, part of the idea is the contrast between plastic and clay or pottery, because plastic is something that's relatively cheap and easy to make, but the end product is something that's really hard to get rid of or can break down in the environment and continues to be like a pollutant forever. And I think of the converse of that, where it's like pottery or ceramics is really hard to make. Like somebody has to mine the clay and refine it and then make the object and then fire it. But then the end product is something that, like, if you break it on the ground and drop it in the water, it just becomes gravel or sand eventually. So, you know, just that kind of contrast, that there's a whole bunch of energy and impracticality to making pottery objects in the 21st century, and that's the opposite of plastic. So, you know, even making like a piece where it is like, looks like a plastic water bottle, but it is a coffee mug, would get people to think about the idea of like the permanence of that object being a plastic water bottle in a permanent material that's recyclable or reusable. Just bringing that awareness to the everyday environment, the domestic environment, through handmade objects.